What's up, everybody? Crash here. Welcome back to Crash Against the Spread, where we talk about sports from a betting perspective. It is Wednesday, January 22nd, and we have 9 NBA games to talk about today. This is my second time to do it. Started it once and my mic wasn't on, so had to go back to it. So I will shoot through these games real quick. Starting with yesterday, we had one play, one shot, one kill. Under 214.5 for the Orlando and Toronto game. So that game got to 109.93, barely got over 200 points, and we hit. So I'll start doing that more often. If I only have one play, I'm only make one pick. But getting into the actual card today, we have Detroit and Atlanta. First game up, Detroit. Atlanta is 2.5-point home favorites, totals 234. Looking at the injury report, I think Jaden Ivey is the only one out for Detroit. Jalen Johnson is questionable for the Hawks. Trae Young is day-to-day with an Achilles. He's probable, though. If Jalen Johnson does not play, I like Detroit. The Hawks are 4-4 without Johnson on the floor, and I think the Pistons are scrappy enough to give them some issues. So, being that they're not at full strength, I would lean Pistons if Jalen Johnson does not play. Suns at the Nets. Nets are on the back-to-back. They are 12-point underdogs, 11.5. Totals at 219. I would lean on the Nets. They played the Knicks pretty closely yesterday in a low-scoring game. And the Suns team isn't really impressing me this season. Just coming off a loss to Cleveland. They did beat Detroit by 4. They beat the Wizards by 7. They lost to the Hawks. Beat the Hornets by 7. Beat the Jazz. Beat the Hawks. Lost to the Hornets. Beat the 76ers. And lost to the Pacers. So, not an impressive resume in the last 10 games. They're 6-4, only 3-6-1 against the spread in those games. So, I would lean on the Nets at this big number. Suns don't seem to like to cover big numbers this season. I see a 10.5 and an 11.5 in the last 10 games, and they didn't cover either. Also a 7.5 that didn't cover. Oh, they were underdogs in that one. Still didn't cover it though. So lean on the Nets at this one, even on the back-to-back. Timberwolves and Mavs. I think this is a Timberwolves spot. No DiVincenzo in this game, but the Minnesota Timberwolves are coming off a loss to the Grizzlies in their last one, and the Cavs the game before that. So I think they might use this Mavs team as a get-right game. Would prefer for them to be at home, laying points with them, but against this Mavs team, missing their best player. And I think Lively is day-to-day. Exum out, Hardy out, Powell out, Najee Marshall and Klay Thompson also questionable. So, not sure who's going to play. I would lean on the Timberwolves to win by at least 3 points in that game. Cavs and the Rockets. I don't want to fade the Cavs. So, whether at home or on the road, I'm going to lean on the Cavs to keep winning. Rockets are a very good home team. They're 14-7 at home. They're also 14-6 on the road. So, pretty even either way. Cavs have been the better against the spread team. They're both profitable, though. It's just hard to jump in front of this Cavs team. So I would lean Cavs at -3. We don't get a low number like that very often. So I would lean on them to cover that. Grizzlies and the Hornets. Grizzlies are home favorites, 12 points. Don't like that huge number. I think the Hornets could have a shot at covering that. Maybe a backdoor cover by the end of the game. They are missing Brandon Miller and Terrence Mann. LaRavia and Kennard are questionable for the Grizzlies. So, John Morant coming off a 19-point game. I think he could probably get up and over that this time. I just don't think this Hornets team is a good defensive team. So I think they're going to let you score whatever, and if you mess up, they might be able to get you. But Grizzlies are 28-15 on the season, even with all the injuries they've had. Also 28-15 against the spread, which I think is interesting. They haven't won and covered the same game, so for the numbers to end up like that, I think it's pretty cool. But they are coming off a loss. Oh no, they're coming off 3 straight wins and then a loss to Houston, win against the Timberwolves, and then a loss to Houston again. So that number's just too big for me. Grizzlies minus 12, so I would lean Hornets, but I don't think I'm going to bet it. Bucks and Pelicans. Pelicans coming off a high-scoring game against the Jazz, where they went to overtime to beat them. Jazz came out and smacked them in the mouth early, and they had to walk them down and coming off an overtime victory. Let me look at that game. $123-19 in New Orleans. So they are still at home, hosting a Bucks team that's pretty even on their season. ATS wise, they are 6-4 in their last 10 games against the spread, 7-3 straight up. So they're trending on the right path. Pelicans also 7-3, and 7-3 straight up and against the spread. Looks like Milwaukee has played a slightly harder schedule. The Pelicans haven't been this healthy in a while, so Bucks more rested team. They are on the road, coming off a 4-game homestand, so I would lean on the Bucks in this one, minus the 5. I think they're the better team. CJ McCollum coming off a 40-point night in that game. And I think they might need him to do things like that to continue. So they had 2 players in there who combined for, in their starting lineup, who combined for 5 points. So that's not a good look for the Pelicans. They can't rely on 1 or 2 players to do everything. So Bucks minus the 5.5 is my pick for that one. Jazz and the Thunder, biggest spread on the board. Thunder home favorite 17.5. I can see a situation where they cover that. I could also see a situation where they don't care in the fourth quarter because they have been covering that the whole game, and the Jazz sneaking the back door. So just a game I'm going to stay off. Too many scenarios where either team can cover. Warriors and the Kings. I like the Kings in that one. Warriors pretty much don't have any help for Steph right now. Draymond Green is out. Kenny Anderson's day-to-day. Pajimski's out. Kuminga's out. Gary Payton II coming off a 2-point game. Andrew Wiggins, 4-point game. Trace Jackson-Davis, 5-point game. Dennis Schroeder scored 7 in the last game. Curry had 18. So if all these guys are struggling to score against the Sacramento team, who has had a boost over the last 10, 12 games since they fired their coach, they have only lost 1 game in that time period to the Milwaukee Bucks, 130-115. They're 9-1 straight up, 6-3 against the spread in their last 10. So they're trending in the right direction. The Warriors are going the opposite way, and I would lean on the Kings to cover this number. Celtics and the Clippers. I'm not sure who's going to be playing in this game for the Clippers specifically. Everybody's on the report. Kawhi is out with a knee injury. Harden's on the report. Powell's on the report. Zubac out. PJ Tucker's out. Batum is day-to-day. Boston has Horford and Holiday day-to-day. And both guys are actually questionable. So Holiday did play in their last one, coming off a 10-point game. If none of these guys play for the Clippers, there's no way they can cover a number against any version of the Celtics. So I'm going to lean on the Celtics. It's the last game on the board, so probably the latest injury update we're going to get. So we'll just wait and see. But for right now, I like the Cavs. Right now, I like the Cavs, I like the Timberwolves, and I like the Pistons if Jalen Johnson does not play. So those are going to be my 3. Go ahead and lock those in. Let's get this money. We'll be back tomorrow to talk some more NBA. There's another 9 games on tomorrow's card. So we'll see you then.